Hello, and welcome to the Knitworthy podcast.
What you haven't seen already could fill a book.
It's true. So, here's what's going on. We're having more technical issues, and so we just are going to have to work through it. So we're recording on my iPad again today. Yay! And Mama's going to try and fix it.
I'm going to try. We'll see if I can get you. YouTubers should be fine. It'll just be whether I get it on iTunes or not. So
I believe in you.
You believe I can fly, don't you?
I do. I believe you can touch the sky.
Think about it every night and day.
Wow.
I know.
You feel it. She feels it. Okay, so this is the Knitworthy podcast, and this is Wednesday, October 22nd of 2014, and this is episode 18. I'm Brianne, also known as Being Brianne on Ravelry and Instagram, and this is my gorgeous mother.
Hi, I'm Mama Linda, also known as Stony Brook on social media.
Yes, and we are here today for you.
We are.
We are, because if you weren't here, I would have given up on this by now. This episode would not be happening.
We would have knitted and just called it a day.
Pretty much.
So the exciting part is we are going to try and make it a quickie because those of you who have been following us know we are so trying to sell our house because we want to downsize and we're going to get more affordable. And we have somebody coming today.
At 6 o'clock.
Yes, 6 o'clock.
And it is currently like 3:30. We gotta make this quick.
I know.
Okay.
We have to pretend like we're really neat people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like we live in a pigsty or anything.
We don't live in a pigsty, but there is dust that will need to be handled. And I may or may not have a few knitting items out. I don't know.
My knitting items are fairly okay. I really need to vacuum and like do my bathrooms.
Always bathrooms.
Bathrooms, big deal.
Right, they are. So hopefully, you know how we've tried before. Maybe this time we will be able to produce a shorter episode.
I hope and I pray. All right, so let's move on.
Okay.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing the INSPIRA cowl.
Did we introduce you at all?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We've done it so many times.
I can't keep track now.
I know.
It's okay.
Yeah, the INSPIRA cowl, which I have wanted to do for a long time.
Yes, you have.
And I will talk about it more in Finished Objects. But
all right.
Stay tuned.
I'm wearing hand-knitted socks, but you can't see them because I am not that flexible. But they are monkey socks.
And they are red, but they actually look more kind of corally now because they faded. But
yeah.
They are still lovely monkeys.
Yeah, well, they are like many years old, so it's okay that they've faded.
It is okay.
I'm all right with that. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go to gooseberries, which is our tasty weekly chit chat.
Yes.
And so would you like to start?
Yes. On one of the many earlier versions that we did, I had actual little treats that we were able to enjoy. You'll just have a little chocolate right here. So I had such a fun thing when I was getting ready for Brianne's birthday. Our tradition is you get to choose your birthday meal.
Yes.
And so what did you choose? Do you want to tell them?
We had a very traditional American meal, at least a Midwestern meal, of pot roast and mashed potatoes and gravy and salad and rolls. And Dad bought like 24 rolls for like the 8 of us.
And they were like ginormous, like this big around. I'm like, wow.
He really must think we really like the carbs.
Well, we do.
Well, yeah, that's not lying.
And then she asked for German chocolate cake. That was always my favorite, still is my favorite. And my grandmother used to make it, and she would make it the frosting from scratch. She made the whole thing from scratch. I only do the frosting now from scratch, and the rest is out of a mix. But it's delicious. I mean, all the butter and the coconut and the nuts, fabulous.
Yes, so good.
So little Evan was my helper.
Yes, that's my 4-year-old son.
And it was so fun cooking with him. You know, it's been a long time since I got to cook with a little one.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. And what we made were some treats that I had seen. I'm not sure if it was on Pinterest or just on the internets somewhere. But it was so delicious and easy and a great project for little kids.
Yeah.
So you take a little miniature pretzel.
Not like a straight kind, but like in a pretzel shape.
Yeah, it has to have the pretzel shape because you are going to take a little Hershey's Kiss. Now they have different flavors of Hershey's Kisses. I used a regular milk chocolate, but I think that actually the one I saw, they used a white and milk chocolate swirl.
Oh, cute.
But, and I think I've also might have seen this project done with Reese's. I don't know. We're peanut allergies here, so we don't do that. But so you put the Hershey's on top of it. Set your oven for 350. Put it in the oven, not on your hand. Put it on a pan first.
That's always a good idea.
Don't do this in the oven. No. And you heat it up 5 to 7 minutes, just until the chocolate's melty.
Sure.
And then you take it out, and as soon as you take it out, you're going to press in a candy corn.
So like, don't use your finger to press it down.
No.
Use the candy corn.
Actually, I was able to, because in 5 to 7 minutes, it hadn't melted enough to be burning hot.
Okay, that's good.
But I wouldn't do it as a kid. I would let the adult do that. Let the kids unwrap and hand you things, and you can press that part in, because you wouldn't want to take a chance. But
what about with me? Would you do that with me, or do you trust me to do?
In a few more years, I think.
Okay.
We'll trust you with that.
All right. You heard it here first.
But it was really tasty. I mean, it looks adorable too. But I thought it'd be really fun with those candy pumpkins too.
Oh yeah.
And a really fast thing, and kids love it's fast too. Most kids don't have the attention span to handle some big elaborate things. So I totally give it the Stony Brook thumbs up.
And I thought that they were delicious, so I'm gonna give it the Being Brienne thumbs up. Yay!
Must try.
Well, my gooseberry for the week was my birthday, so you know that's always good.
Yes.
And for my birthday, I had a couple of viewers gift me patterns. Thank you very much. That was a really fun treat, a surprise.
It was.
It was very sweet of them.
Very sweet.
Totally didn't have to do it, but I'm really glad you did, because I'm looking forward to knitting fabulous things. And also for my birthday, Mom and Dad gave me a really neat new ball winder, which I was in desperate need of, because my old one was just doing terrible balls of yarn. They were all, it had like these strings that would hang down from the bottom, you know? No, but I mean, it was, Brian got it for me the year that we moved here, and that was in 2007. So
Still have a lot of winding.
It has. It was time to retire it.
When you actually get a chance to use it more, you'll have to do a review.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the few that had a wider opening. Some of you know, I have a very hard time finding a place to clamp a ball winder on, because they're usually my counters or my table, whatever, all those things are too wide for it. So this one had a bigger mouth, and it also, well, a bit bigger clamp. Mouth thing. And then it also allows you to wind like twice the amount of yarn. So if you had one of those big, ginormous, I forgot, there's that one about the indie dyers that does big old honkin' ball of whatever.
Miss Babs, Yazawittiscane.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could wind that very easily on it. So.
And not that I have any of that yarn, but I would hope to have some in the future. So I'm looking ahead. I'm trying to be prepared.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about what we're knitting. Mom, would you like to go first, or shall I start?
Well, why don't you go first?
Okay.
I'm all for you going.
Oh, thank you. Well, what I have right now is I have my, this is just my purse knitting that I keep in the car with me, or my purse. And so I'm knitting on this because it's the only thing that I have going right now that I don't have to actually think about. And look how it matches me, Mom pointed out. It's like perfect.
Now you're just setting a standard high for me here.
I know. You need to coordinate all of your knits to what you're wearing now.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, well that's all right too. This is in Turtle Made yarn in her Power Sock.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like how the yarn is kind of more tonal. It's not really solid colors, and I think that's a lot of fun. You know, even the back, like here, look at the stripe in the front. It's lighter, and then in the back, it's darker. Just kind of the way the yarn has pulled a little bit, or flashed. You can kind of see here on this one.
You bought flashing yarn? Is that what you're saying?
I did. Wow. I have to keep an eye on it. So this is what I'm knitting on right this second. The other thing that has, or two things that has taken up some of my knitting time this week, or the last 2 weeks, has been my pagona. And I knitted a few inches on that.
Beautiful.
I'm now, here's the first triangle, I don't know what he calls it, but this is the first kind of triangle area. And I have the second, and I started my third, this little tiny itty bitty one right here.
Are you still aiming for symmetry?
I still am. But you know what? I'm not the only one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm okay. I actually got the idea from somebody else who had done the same thing. And so, yeah, if you want to know who that is, it's in my Ravelry project notes. And so you can just look there.
Okay.
And then I started a new project. I felt like everything that I'm knitting on right now is like in fingering weight yarn, and it's just not my favorite.
Right.
It's not that it's not my favorite. It's just that it feels like it's taking forever. So I started a new project, and let me look. This is the Fifth Avenue Infinity Scarf by Margot Huffnagel, and she's a fancy Margot because she has an X in her name.
What?
I know. I feel fancy between the Fifth Avenue and the Margot thing. I feel so fancy knitting this.
You are fancy.
I am fancy. So this is the beginning of it. I started it on Sunday. It's been a busy week so far, so I haven't gotten a ton done with it, but this is a very cheerful red.
It is, I would call it like a cherry red.
It
as
is.
opposed to the, I don't know if it'll come off that way, but it's appearing on screen to us like it's more of an orangey red.
It's not an orangey red. Let me get a little bit closer. Ta-da! So it's just kind of, moving in diagonal there. But yeah, so the only thing is I wasn't really thinking very much when I chose this one because it has you cast, it's 240 stitches on the needles. So it takes a while to get around. So it's not quite as instant gratification as I was hoping it would be. Because it takes so long to get around it, but that's all right.
It is.
And this is in, I think it's Studio June. I have it in my notes, and I'll link to it in the show notes so that you guys can see what it is that I'm knitting this out of. But I actually won this yarn when I went to the Loopy U Spring Fling.
Oh, wow.
In 2011. So
that's great.
Yeah, so I'm finally using it.
Doesn't that feel good?
It does.
Good. Yay, you.
Yay, me! Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's it for me.
Okay.
What are you knitting?
Well, I don't know how much I've actually shown this, and this is probably going to appear mostly black, but this is, well, actually, I think I did try showing it. That's the one I couldn't find how to show anybody anything on it. This is the Elizabeth Cardigan by Cecily something McGowan. Glowick McDonald. Okay, you're knitting from wrist across the back into the other wrist.
Wow.
Now, I am not going to show you the whole thing, but I wanted to show you the hand spun, and this is from Diamond Bee Ranch in Arkansas.
Okay.
She has a Ravelry group also. And so it was bats that I got from her a year ago, last September, at Fiber Days, and I wanted to make a cardigan. And this is, I'm sure, going to be quite warm.
It was quite warm as I was just holding it.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
It really retains the heat.
It does.
It's not going to be the kind of one I'm going to be able to wear around the house probably. It's going to have to be an outdoor one.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to show is I have knit from one wrist all the way across, and I'm at the other wrist, and right here.
How do you like knitting a sweater that way?
So far, I like it, but I think where I'm feeling really nervous knitting it because it is very difficult to tell if it's fitting okay.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And so I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see, and especially after it's blocked and everything. I don't know how that will all affect how it spreads. I mean, not spreads, but how it kind of droops and hangs. But you know what? I figure, well, we'll try. And so I am now to this part, and you can see I only have up to here.
Goodness.
So I just have from here to here. You can see where
almost
those two fingers are. And then what the next part that happens is you will sew the seam. I'm going to do it this way. Sew the seams that go up from the arm down the side, and then you're going to pick up stitches around the neck for the collar. And it's a very wide collar.
Oh.
And so, I forgot to bring up a finished object that I have, but I have a picture, so I'll tell you about that one. But what I've discovered from another finished object that I did is that I really prefer having even cardigans I'm not going to button hang closer together. If they hang anywhere near the outside edge of my body, they want to go to the side and hang at my armpits, leaving the girls fully exposed.
Mom, has issues with the fact that she has breasts, apparently. I don't know.
I just like to disguise them because they are not my first choice. But anyway, that being said, some of you may also have the idea that you want to disguise certain parts of your body.
Of course.
And I did, when I wore it, I got a lot of compliments on it. Mm-hmm. I wore a dark shirt underneath to kind of disguise things. But, you know, I guess you have to really think about what your figure is, even if you love something. And I always wear my cardigans open, but I just found myself constantly trying to pull it together all day. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that this cardigan has enough of a collar so that I won't be doing that. Okay, that's what I'm hoping. Yes. But I did want to tell one thing before we move on, because this was, well, I had one other finished object, but what happened, I started this, I spun the yarn for it a year ago in January.
Oh my gosh.
And I started knitting it right away, and it got put away many, many times. I thought I had really clear notes on the one sleeve. I thought I had stitch markers at every decrease, or increase it was on the other side. And so I thought it'll be really easy because I'll be able to see, you know, how many rows I did, and that way I'll make sure I get it exactly the same.
Sure.
Because I remember I had trouble with my stitch count not being the same. I had to decrease or increase quicker to get to the side.
Yeah.
So when I got to this and I started doing what I was reading from the other sleeve, I was just reading my knitting and doing the same thing. Well, I had a sleeve that would have been...
Oh, no.
I mean, I could have, you know, put little children in there. Here, swing!
We don't actually condone putting little children into your sleeves.
Don't put children in your sleeve.
No.
So, once again, the handy stitch markers
came
in handy. I did twice. I had to rip back because I could see I was doing the wrong series of decreases to get the sleeve. So you can kind of see what I did. What I decided was, instead of having to constantly go back and measure, and if you've ever had to lay one knitted fabric on top of another, you know how easy there's quite a bit of variation in it. You can very easily stretch it too much or whatever.
Right.
So I laid it down on a very flat surface and smoothed it out, and I put my first set of stitch markers down here. And then I would just go a couple of inches and place another set of markers as I'm eyeballing when I need to increase and decrease. And I made sure I had one in the middle too so there wasn't gapping. So that way I could read my knitting easier. Now no one's going to know if it's off a stitch or two on your sleeve. You know, they're separated. I mean, if it's off quite a lot, it's going to make a difference, but a stitch or two shouldn't. So as long as it was fairly close, I was confident I'd be okay. But I thought there might be other people who have a problem with doing the second sleeve at a different time. Do you remember when I accidentally knit 3 sleeves for a sweater?
I totally remember that. Wasn't that for your first sweater?
My first sweater. It was taking me so long, and I finally got to assembly, and all of a sudden realized I knit 3 sleeves.
Why is this taking so long? What's the problem here?
Yeah.
I'm a really slow knitter.
No,
you just knit.
There's really nothing to do with an extra sleeve. There's no rescuing it, just have to frog it.
That's true.
So the wonderful thing about this is, though, that as I was going, I was confident that I wasn't re-measuring and getting something different, and as long as I was doing it every couple of inches, I was pretty close, and it would be close enough for me.
Sure.
Otherwise, my only other choice would be ripping back the whole entire sweater.
Oh, my Lord.
I just don't think that's what I should do.
No, not in any world is that what you should do.
So anyway, I'm getting to the ribbing, and I'll be doing the collar. Hopefully next week I'll start on a collar.
Wonderful.
I want to get off the needles. I'm less excited about the project than I was, a year and some months ago.
Well, that does not surprise me one bit.
It's hard to maintain enthusiasm that long.
It really is.
So I'm really ready to be done with it.
Be done!
And that's really all that's on the needles, but I did want to say,
and
this is coming later, we had someone send us a care package.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it at the end.
Full of love.
Oh my goodness, it was so wonderful. What a treat.
Yes.
And this was one of the things that she has in it. And this is spindle spun. Can you believe this? I'll show it again at the end. But I have been dreaming about what to do with this beautiful spindle spun. And I also, from last week, I think you might remember that I had gotten this alpaca that is from, they're both fingering weight. close to fingering weight. And so I thought this might make a nice project together.
I think so.
So what I decided, I know.
Tell me.
I know you're on the edge of your seat, aren't you?
Wait, hold on. Yes.
Okay. So what I decided to do, I had my, was it hibiscus socks?
Yeah.
And they are spring. And I thought, it's not fun knitting on them now because I'm all into the fall colors. So they are going in a Ziploc baggie. They're going in hibernation until spring, when I will really love picking them up again.
Yes.
And I have extra needles, so I'm not worried about those needles not coming off. So what I want to do, I decided that instead of knitting more socks for myself, okay, because I'm trusting you will continue doing that for me. But I thought I am going to try knitting fingerless mittens.
Great idea.
Okay. Now I don't want to do gloves. I think that's just a tad fiddly for me. So I do fingerless mittens, and I'm thinking I'm going to use, if I have enough, I'll do fingerless mittens out of just this. There might be another one. Did you give me 2 of these?
No, there's just one.
Just the one. Okay. Well, if there's enough yardage, I'll do it just out of this. But otherwise, I might add a contrast with it and make a pair of beautiful or I might just spin some fingering myself in a not a variegated, but in a solid, like a cream or something.
A complementary color.
A complementary color, and let this shine more, and instead of this would overpower it.
Because I think what is hard to see, unless you're really close up, is there's like a little bit of brown, and there's a beautiful, kind of like a mauve-y kind of color, just a little touch of cream. So there's just a lot of colors in that. So I think you could find something that'd be really beautiful to put along with that.
Right. I'm stunned by this spinning. It's 80% merino and 20% bamboo.
Bambino.
It says bambus, but I think she's from Norway.
She is from Norway. Yes.
So anyway, I'm loving this. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I always try and have a pair of socks on, but a pair of fingering weight fingerless mittens would be very much like having socks on needles, don't you think?
Yes. And who was just talking about that was Paula from the Knitting Pipeline.
Was she really?
She was. She said she's saying that mittens are the new socks. Because
that could be.
It's just basically like knitting.
It is
socks, except just a little bit different.
Yeah. So instead of knitting a heel, you're knitting a thumb gusset.
Right. That's exactly what you said. I just listened to it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Linda
Lee and Paula Emmons-Feasley. They're like
I've often thought of taking up the
Emmons-Feasley?
No, that
would be funny. Linda Lee, Paula Emmons-Feasley.
In my admiration, I will take your name. No, the bagpipes.
Oh,
she's a piper, right?
She is a piper.
No.
Yeah.
I was a flautist. Maybe I should do that instead.
I would stick with what you know.
Do you think I could even make a note on a flute these days?
I have no clue.
Probably not.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, could take Paula's last name.
Linda Lee Emmons-Feasley. We should just do that.
We could just add hyphenations and make the longest last name ever.
That is
with
so
all
true.
the people you admire.
Oh, wow. That could get really long.
No one would want to steal your identity then, would they?
It's too much. Too much.
52 hyphenated names. Do you want it? I don't think so.
No. So I'm going to talk about, I have a finished object this week.
Come on.
I do. I'm so excited.
Okay.
I finished up Brian's Christmas socks. So here's where I was last time, and
good for you.
Finished up. Once I really just settled in and was like, I just need to crank these puppies out and finish them, then it only took me like a day to knit the rest of the foot.
Hey, did you say to yourself, why did I wait so long?
Yes, because when I looked on Ravelry, I have had these on the needle since May.
Do you think it's just that we say, well, it's a man's foot and it's so much bigger and it's going to be a big ordeal? And
I don't know what it was.
Because how many pairs of socks have you knit since then?
Several.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, really, I know that if I really concentrate, I can knit a pair of socks within like a week and a half. And so the fact that these were on the needles for 5 months is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So, anyways, these are finished and I get to put them into the Christmas box, and that makes me happy.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you. What have you finished? over the last 2 weeks?
Well, let me think. Perhaps maybe a beautiful cowl.
Oh my, yes, that's lovely. Yeah.
I should try a hood thing.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's quite the look.
I look a little bit like I'm a folk person that's selling apples on the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
Which would be fine.
Yes.
You know.
It's a look. I just don't know if it's your look.
And okay, so the thing about this cowl that I love, first of all, I'm going to try and show. Well, I'm only partly on the screen, but it is shown as you can wear it over one side. You know that Katniss cowl is, everybody's kind of replicating different versions of it. It reminded me a little bit of the style of a Katniss cowl in that you could wear one side up, one side down. I really wanted to wear it over both shoulders. Now, the original cowl, I tried a couple years ago. I loved it and tried practicing to see if I could figure out how to do it. I wasn't ready for the color work. It's really corrugated rib done with 2 different colorways of Lion Brand Amazing yarn. Okay. Cobblestone is the brown colorway. That's the background color. And the color of the ribs is Arcadia in Lion Brand Amazing.
Okay.
And so the wonderful thing is the color play that you get. It is definitely like striped socks.
Yeah.
Because you're always excited to see the next color come up.
Uh-huh.
And if you go and look at the project pages and see what people have done, there are some amazing ones.
I'm sure.
Now, because I'm a bigger person, what she said she did, she started with 121 stitches, which would be the equivalent of half of the stitches I cast on.
Which is like, yeah. I mean, that's not a ton.
It's not very much.
No.
And then she said what she did was after she washed it, she jammed it on over her shoulders to stretch it out. Okay, I knew that it would be like a rubber band pinging from here to Texas because there would be such energy in that.
Yeah.
And so I knew I didn't want to have to worry about it. You know, if you've ever had something too tight on your shoulders and it does the rolly thing, and you're constantly all day doing, the tug. I didn't want to do that, so. I don't know the exact number of stitches, so I'm not giving anything away. Like, let's say it's in the low hundreds, 115 or 20 or whatever it is. And I cast on like 221, 24 stitches. Yeah. And all you want to do is make sure that you are staying in repeat pattern. You don't want two cobblestones next to each other. You want to keep it varied. So when you're doing your count, actually I think when I got to the end of the stitches I cast on, I was going to end up with that 2 similar colors together. So I just did 2 knit front and backs to make sure I had the stitch count right, and it didn't make any difference in that. It does have a couple extra repeats because of me wanting to have it down here.
Get some length.
Yes. Now, what I like about it, when you put a wrap on, okay, unless it's long enough to go all the way around or you're wearing it backwards, your chest can get cold.
Sure.
If you're wearing a traditional wrap.
Yes.
And there are times like when the house is chilly, and let's say you're in bed reading, and you want just something over your shoulders, but you don't want the whole thing.
Right.
And I often get very hot in my arms anyway. I just want to kind of like pull my sleeves up. And so this really allows you to stay really nice and toasty warm, warmer than a cowl. And you're including your arms, and so it's just a lovely garment, and I can totally see it worn under a nice winter jacket. Can you imagine the warmth that you would have?
Very warm, yes.
And because it's not, if there's plenty of give, it would get in your way at all, but it would be much warmer than trying to keep a scarf around you in that way. So I love it.
So I like the way you reworked the pattern to fit you.
I did.
And to make it work better for your body shape and type, and to give you coverage where you wanted coverage. I think that's great.
Yes, and I'm very happy with it. I did add to the collar. It probably would have been a stand-up collar about like that, about that length. And I liked the idea of slouching it over, and I don't think the back side of it is unpleasing at all.
No, not
this
at
is
all.
the part where the yarn is carried, and I think it's still lovely. And so I love it.
Yeah.
Now I have plans for another one.
You do?
I do. This is what I'd like to do. I'd like to do a solid color, still in the rib pattern until about here, And I'd like to do the corrugated rib from here to here. I think that's a smaller dimension on my body. And so it wouldn't bring attention to my widest part with a line this way.
Yeah.
And then do the solid color rib cowl here.
Oh, yeah.
So that there is just a beautiful line of color work here.
That's really nice.
And I think that would be a lovely thing.
Kind of like the idea of a yoked sweater.
Yes.
You know, where you have a really beautiful pattern right here.
Yes.
Drawing the eye up.
And I did think about that too. I thought, think of all the Icelandic sweaters and stuff you've seen that maybe have a pattern. But do I want to wear the thing all day? Or do I just want to have a little accent and be able to take it off and put it on? I don't know, it's a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to knit a whole sweater.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. Other
Yay.
thing I got finished is, this is some hand spun I did quite a while back from some alpaca. Yes, Brianne, alpaca. From Whirlwind Ranch, my friend Liz. And she has lovely rovings, and this was kind of a camel-y color with some black. That was, the roving was actually striped side by side, and so it just created this lovely kind of marled look, I would say.
Beautiful.
And so I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and then I thought, well, of course, cowls, because apparently I can't get enough of them. But Brianne, would you help me find, what's the name of this pattern? This was such a simple knit, and I love the diagonal line that's created here. And I'm going to hold it up in one ply so you can see, I think you can see that there is eyelets going in a diagonal and a chain of knits that are going here.
I don't see it.
It's not in my finished projects?
No.
All right, well, I'll add it at the end, but
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yep, in the show notes. It's a very simple cowl. It's like, I mean, I could give you the recipe, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It's that easy. I could remember it.
Awesome.
You do one thing the whole way, it looks like you've done magic when all you have done
I love
is...
those kinds of things.
It is, and because you can't wear enough cowls, what I wanted to show you was how nicely it hangs.
That's nice and drapey.
It is, and if I didn't have another cowl underneath, it would be draping even more. I also think it would be lovely with twice as many stitches and wrapped twice. So
very nice.
This, look in the show notes, and really, it's like 2 stitches.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, most of these things are knit and pearls. What am I saying?
It's only 2 stitches. That's it.
Okay. Well, you get it.
I got it.
That I didn't. I was trying to make it sound really simple, and then I just sounded like an idiot. But, oh well.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay.
Well, moving on to, are you kidding me? Do you remember last week where I talked about I wanted to swatch a sweater for Eilish?
Yes.
It's the Make Mine Strawberry, and I was using Jojo Lantonic, which is mostly acrylic, and it's like 85% acrylic and 15% wool, and which is like a DK weight, but the gauge was like for almost a fingering weight, and it really hurt my hands after I was just finished knitting the swatch. And so I decided that's not a good choice for me. I don't need to give myself, wrist issues or anything like that. And so I decided I'm not going to make this. I'm not going to force it. And so I am not going to make that sweater. I do want to make a sweater. I'm just going to have to find a different yarn to use with that specific pattern.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not quite sure, what I'll end up doing, but
okay.
sometimes, you may think that you have the perfect combination of yarn and pattern, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, then why try and make something happen that really is not meant to be?
I agree.
You're not going to be happy knitting it.
I agree.
Yes. So, what about you? Did you have an Are You Kidding Me this week?
I think I shared my Are You Kidding Me with the whole group.
Did you? Oh, yes.
Well,
that's true. Well, you might want to tell for those of you who aren't on our Ravelry group.
That's true. You might have missed all the fun. So, last time I showed you my Whispering Pines shawl, and the whole border looked nothing like it was supposed to, and everybody else was doing great.
Right.
And I had done it like 3 times. I'm like, this looks nothing like it. I decided to keep it, and I actually wore it today. It fits lovely.
Great.
I don't know what it is, but the way, the actual shape of the shawl stays nicely. It hits me nicely. Like when I put it together, the closure comes here and not way down at my belly button or anything.
Well, good.
But what we discovered, someone pointed out that perhaps I was reading the chart wrong. Well, I knew I was, but I didn't know how. So what I think I did, I know I did. I read every line right to left.
Yeah.
I started right to left, and I just did like when you're reading, go back to the beginning. And so in essence, half of the chart was wrong and half the chart was right.
Yeah. You're not going to get what...
I got 50%.
You're not going to get the look that you're hoping for if you're reading the chart wrong.
No. Now I really feel like I'd like to try it again and actually see if I can get the chart right. Because I've done it so many times that it should be something I can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've proven I can do the stitches. Can I do them in the right order? Is the question.
I bet you can.
So that was a silly thing. And after someone said it, I was thinking, well, the last time I tried charts was several years ago. And I do remember now somebody saying you've got to go back and forth.
Right.
And I remember how hard that was for me. It's like trying to, write your name with your left hand.
Oh,
it feels so foreign.
Yeah.
Oh,
goodness.
Oh, well. But thanks for helping me figure out what I did wrong.
Yay for group members. You guys are so
screen over. I think I'm half in screen.
All right.
Okay.
Hello. Gilding a lily.
Yes.
Did you gild a lily this week?
I did. Because I wanted to get my next sweater. Sweater season is a limited thing.
It is.
It's not forever.
No.
So I wanted to be sure I had my next sweater project. And I want to do can you see, is it Girl Friday? No, Something Red by Wendy Bernard. And this is another project that I started back when we first went to Simply Fibers, when Simply Fibers was around, and I picked it out. And I had gotten on the started on the raglan, which took me forever because I didn't understand it. And I got to about here and I realized it was just way more than I could handle. I didn't understand any half what was going on.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's just a raglan top. It comes to a V, and then it has not a skirt, not a peplum, whatever.
Okay.
It's just a layering piece.
Sure.
And instead of hanging open like the cardigans I've made, it actually has a button and it clasps right here.
Okay.
Which I think is a pretty good look for me. I have something similarly styled I've been looking for in the stores, and I haven't been able to find it in my size. And so I thought, well, let's just make it. So I picked up, this is not, I would say this is not Knit Pick's finest, but it comes in such an assortment of colors, and this is just going to be a layering piece anyway.
And
so
it's very affordable.
Very affordable. So it's wool of the Andes, and it's called Larch Heather. And I think it's lovely. It's actually coming out fairly close to what it is. It's a beautiful foresty green with the heathering is darker, and I think it's just going to be a great neutral for my wardrobe. Look, we even go with this.
Beautiful.
So I'm looking forward to starting that. I'm hoping to start next week.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. I hope I don't get stuck on that. There's no charts. So I should be okay.
I'm sure you'll be just fine. Well, we both were sent a wonderful package Mom referenced earlier from our friend in Norway who is Fiber Feet on Ravelry.
We love you.
Thank you so much. And I don't know how to say your name. Like, I think it might be Asa? I don't know. But I'm sorry.
Well, maybe she can come in the thread and she can give us the pronunciation for her name.
That'd be wonderful. I would love that.
We were so excited because we told her
my
that
gosh.
my husband's family is Norwegian.
Yes.
And apparently there's a lot of Norwegians out there. But we were excited.
We were like, yay!
And we decided we love Norwegian candy.
Yeah, because she sent us like 4 different kinds of chocolate.
And she said it's just things that are common where they live. And I thought, I could live there.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
So, did you bring any of that yarn up that you received?
Just this one.
Just that one? Okay.
There's others. I should have brought them all up.
This is the hand spun that that I picked out for myself.
Yeah, this is, does it say, wheel spun?
And it's...
sorry, you can't have mine.
80% merino and 20% bamboo. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's like green and orange and purple and blue. It's really fun.
This woman's an expert if she can create this beautifully consistent of a yarn on a spindle. I'm impressed.
And then there were 2 skeins of this Filicolana Arwetta Classic.
Love it. Actually, she was so right. She said she'd picked what she thought we would like.
Yes.
I mean, I tried to be gracious, but I could have had it all.
I know.
It was wonderful.
It was awesome.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And then this is from Drops Fable Superwash. And I've only knitted one other thing out of Drops yarn, and I really enjoyed it.
Look at the colors there.
I
Gorgeous.
know. And I'm wondering, is it going to be self-striping? Or is it going to be just like random colors? Like, this is a mysterious ball of yarn.
Fun. And Drops is a type of yarn that I've wanted to try for a long time. They have some great patterns.
They do. They have a ton of patterns.
They have a ton of patterns. So if we discover that we love these, it'll be so nice because then we feel confident ordering them.
Yes. So we want to say a huge thank you to Fiberfiend. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
What a treat. Totally unexpected. And
oh my goodness.
It was like, you know, it's been a little stressful around here. And such perfect timing to be a blessing in our life. So thank you for doing that.
We really appreciate it.
It means a lot.
Yes. So many thanks. Let's see. Oh, it's a good thing.
Yes.
Tell me about your It's a Good Thing.
All right. Well, last time we talked about the Russian join.
Yes.
And so this week it'll be the Russian join part 2.
Oh my goodness, you are so fancy. Yeah.
Come here, you'll learn something. So this particular cowl was the thing that got me started on the Russian join. She uses it quite a lot. And I thought, I had wanted to learn how to do it, so I did the little mini kind of overview, not really a tutorial, but I linked to a tutorial. But one of the things that I had found out from another person that talked about the Russian join is she had a different way of doing it. In the method that I discussed last time, the whole idea is getting the tail of the yarn tucked in the core of the yarn. So it's looped around the new yarn and tucked in the center of itself. And the other side the same way. It's looped through the other yarn and then you lock it in the core of its own self.
Yes.
It makes such a strong join. I mean, you can just tug on them and they really aren't going anywhere.
Right.
Well, there are certain yarns where it's not easy to get into the core of them. I don't know if you found that. This is Sophie.
Oh, hello, Sophie.
Fussy girl. She wants to be held. But, not every yarn you can tuck in in the core. And, one would be like a 2-ply. That's not exactly the easiest thing. And,
right.
Or cotton. Not easy to find the center on dishcloth cotton or whatever. But what one person said, and I'm just going to verbally tell you, but I would say look up Russian join. You can see the many myriad of ways people do it. But one way that really helped me on the ones where it's hard to find the core is you pierce the thread you're trying to join with, wrap it on the outside, just like if you were plying a yarn. Wrap it on the outside, tuck it back in with the needle, like in and out, like a running stitch at the end. And you think, surely that's not going to hide anything. But it really does just blend in nicely, just as nicely as if you find the core.
Well, good.
And so that was a really nice thing to discover. I've been using it on everything.
Well, good.
I just love how sturdy that join is. So, and then my other, it's a good thing was how to make a matching sleeve, which I've already talked about. Matching sleeves are really important.
They really are.
Yes.
You just never know when you're going to need one.
You never know.
Or is it just all the time?
Actually, think about how handy it'd be to have one short and one long.
Oh, yeah.
You'd just be blended temperature-wise.
That's true. I'm gonna start that trend.
Are you?
I'm doing it.
I also decided... I decided on the layering pieces, I think I'm like Fat Squirrel, Amy Beth, because she now likes to do the sleeve down into here instead of a long sleeve. And if you're indoors and not wanting to take your layering pieces off, which that's the whole point to me of wearing a layering piece, so I can wear it indoors.
Right.
I almost wish I made Mama Vertebrae with the shorter sleeve. So I think the next ones I'm going to do as a shorter sleeve, and I can pull my sleeves up or pull my undershirt, whatever I'm wearing underneath it, down.
Great idea.
And I think it'll just be more comfortable when I'm in the house.
Yeah.
It won't feel like I'm wearing my jacket in the house.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yay for fun things discovered this week.
Hooray. My It's a Good Thing is the fact that we have 2 new iTunes reviews.
What?
I know, so we have 22 now. So we wanted to say thank you to Knitting Mom 65 and Knitting Sisters. They gave us very sweet reviews.
Did they?
They did.
Wow.
They were very kind.
Thank you.
So now it's time for the iTunes review dance. Are you ready? I'm doing old school this time.
Old school.
Old school.
Don't do old school.
No.
Yes, that's nasty.
No, yeah. You ready? Thank you. With so many reviews coming in now, I have to think of what I'm going to do in advance. And I thought, you know what? The fishing is classic.
It's classic Ozarks.
It is.
You know
Lots
what?
of fishing in this area.
Maybe at Christmas we can put Christmas lights around your neck while you do your dance.
That's a great idea. So let's talk about our contest. We have in our group and on Ravelry over 400 members now. I think the last time I looked, we were at 439. Serious.
Wow.
So we are giving away this 3.6 ounces of fiber. I'm not going to take it out of the bag this time, but it's merino and bamboo, I believe, from Eternity Ranch.
She's advertising on our podcast group too. Yeah, so good for her.
And this book, Respect the Spindle, and Mom very generously added something new to the prizes. She added this beautiful spindle. And what she said, you just need a little cup or a bowl.
You can use the bottom of a teacup. You could use a small bowl. Just depends on what you like. It's a support spindle. It's not meant to be suspended, but it actually spins like a top.
I'll only do that the one time. But look at how beautiful it is.
Yeah. And I bought that from a indie artist, you could say, from France.
Yes.
So it's going to be traveling quite a lot.
Yes.
But here's what you do. I'll see if I can do it. You give it a twist and you hold it in a circle in your hands.
I'm not a
That
spinner.
way it doesn't go away while you're spinning. Yeah. But you can see even in my hand how nicely that spins.
Beautiful.
And the book will give you. But I thought it'd be sad to get yarn and a book but no spindle. So.
Right. So this now you have the entire package, people.
Yes.
You have it all, so that you can either learn to spin or learn how to refine your spinning skills. And so, hooray!
Can I do a shout out really quick to Turtle Jen, one of our members?
Yes.
Because she is doing some laser cut, I think Turkish spindles.
Oh, wonderful.
And so they were extremely affordable. And I don't know, she's been going to craft shows, so I don't know if she has any left, but she's on Etsy. Turtle Made, isn't that what is her Etsy shop?
I believe so.
I think it is.
I think so.
So it's Turtle Jen, but you can contact her. She's in the group and see if she has any more. But they're super affordable if you really wanted to try Turkish. Okay. It's a good place to start with hers. So I haven't tried it, but they sound great.
So the rules for this, you need to post in our group, and you have to be a member of our group. Just one post per person. You're going to tell us what your favorite things about fall are, and I don't care if it's been said 100 times in the group already. We have like 70-something posts in it.
Aren't we thrilled about that?
So thrilled. I'm glad you guys are participating.
I know, and it's really neat to hear what people love about it. I have fun reading them.
And I don't care that people say the fall color a million times. I love it too, so I'm happy that other people like the things that I like. This is going to be, I'm going to close the thread on October 30th, which is a Thursday. And so just make sure that if you want to be in for the drawing or for the random number generator, that you have posted in the group. And then that way I can send this out to you if you win, which I hope you win.
I hope everybody could win.
I know,
that would be so cool.
But we have a lot of things coming in for prizes and things that we're going to be doing in the future.
Oh, we got, I should have brought it up. We'll do it next time, but we've got a prize that came in from Stitched by Sasha.
Yes.
So
Super cute bag.
So we can show that next time. Oh my goodness, it's adorable.
Yes.
You'll love it. It's for a gift, so.
We have had to actually start a list of things that have come in so that I can make sure that we're doing things in order of when we receive them. That way it's not too spread out. And I think what Mom and I love to do giveaways.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're going to do is just try and just have a giveaway going almost all the time.
I would love that.
Because that's a lot of fun.
It is very fun. And I would encourage you, if you have something that you make, something that you would love to share, maybe even something from your own stash that you'd like to rehome, think about donating it to prizes, because it makes it more fun, I think.
Absolutely.
You know, I've never won a prize that I can think of on a,
really?
on a group. I entered some today, in fact. On Fat Squirrel, and also on Wolf Farms.
Ooh, fun.
2 whole groups. And I'm not usually I'm always the one that wishes I would win and never enters. And it's just, you just never win if you don't enter.
It's true. It's hard to win something if you don't put your name in for it.
It is.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing? I did win.
What?
Oh, I was so excited. Dancing Geek on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so he's a fairly new podcaster, but he has a great sense of style and fun projects and just very casual. It feels like you're in his living room with him. And so he decided to do a shout out because people had talked about wishing their name would always be called, that kind of thing. He called our name.
Oh.
And he didn't say Knitworthy Podcast. He said Brianne and Linda. So he named us as a podcast he watches.
Yay!
So let's shout out for Dancing Geek right now.
Dancing Geek.
Dancing Geek.
We love you.
We love you, and I watch you.
Well,
that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I've never gotten to do that, to shout out somebody's name. We have to do that more often.
We should.
Shout
just
out
random people.
names.
Jennifer! Fred! Seymour! That's right. Carmen.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for this week.
Okay.
I sure hope you will find a way to put this onto the computer.
I sure hope I do.
If not, YouTube people, exclusive YouTube videos just for you.
We'll embed YouTube video into the group, or we'll figure out a way to do it so that you can easily get from our group to the YouTube if that's what we're able to do. But I'm sure.
And it'll be on the website too.
Yeah, true.
So, well,
we made it.
We did.
Woo.
We love you guys. We're so glad that you're watching. If this is your first time watching us, welcome.
Yeah.
If you're returning viewer, we want to thank you so much for coming back and for being our friends and for just spending some time with us. And we want you to remember that you are knitworthy.
Bye, y'all.
Hello.
There you go.
What should it say?
It's just
Show the honey.
Here, show them the honey. Now put it in your mouth.
You too. Put it next to his head. Is it good?
Good?
Okay, show, what do you do when you show something's delicious?
Not good.
It is good, huh? Do you want a little more?
No.
You sure?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Now wave goodbye to the camera.
Bye.